Lakeland Public Television's Common Ground is brought to you by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund. Common Ground is funded by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund with money from the vote of the people of Minnesota on November 4th, 2008. Hi, and welcome to Common Ground. I'm your host, Ashley Hall. Common Ground captures the creative process of various artists living throughout our region. Each week, we delve into the veiled history of our area, plus we take you inside the cultural events that put the North in North Country. On this week's episode of Common Ground, we visit Breezy Point Resort, where we find out how they've been attracting guests for more than 80 years. Sovia Music Camp at Bemidji State University offers music students, both American and Finnish, the chance to get together and share culturally a love for music. Plus, we head to Legends and Logging Days in Park Rapids.
I come from Finland, from the southeast coast, from a very small town called Loviisa, with 7,500 inhabitants.
Sovia Camp now in 2010 is in its third year. So it actually got started back in 2007 with a conference at NYC where the Finnish educators and students did a presentation for American music educators. And the Finlandia Foundation president at that time was very taken by this concept. And of course, the Finnish education system is really known around the world as one of the best in the entire world. And that also includes the music education. And so that idea started to plant a seed, and the idea of creating a camp whereby students could interact and teachers could interact for an entire week was really born back in New York City, and here we are in Bemidji, Minnesota, carrying that out.
The camp itself, the Salalampi campus, is absolutely beautiful. It has amazing building structures, and just to be in that environment and the cabins and stuff is just really nice, and the meals are just wonderful. I love all of the food, and the college I really like the way that it's laid out, and just being able to have all the practice rooms and just be able to do what we need to here to be able to learn the music the best to our abilities.
It's a team effort between Finland and the US. So we have students coming from Finland and teachers coming from Finland and working together with their American counterparts. This year we have 6 students and 5 teachers that came from Finland. And we have about 41 total for the camp. So it's a pretty high percentage of Finnish people that have come just for this week in Bemidji.
I've done some workshops all over Finland with these types of things what I'm doing, and I've written quite a lot of music for young people and stuff like that.
He thinks of the craziest things to try and make you do what he wants you to do. You know, he'll have you go around a group and say your name, and then he'll somehow be able to tie that into playing music. And lots of rhythms and beats where you get to move a lot and be able to hear the syncopation and just be able to understand like the theory of music and the way that music works. Just being able to be with the Finnish people and hear their language and to see just their culture and the way that they are and how they're similar and different from us. It's been really great to be able to see.
What happens is the first night that the students check in, they all play a very short audition. And this is not meant to intimidate them or put them on the spot, but it allows the teachers to get a little sense of where they are in their musical journey, so that evening then the teachers sit down and put together chamber groups. Chamber music is different from playing in a large band or orchestra or choir, and it's different from solo private lessons. Chamber music is a small group, 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, where there's no conductor and they have to listen to each other and make decisions on how they want things to sound. So we have students playing in 1 or 2 chamber groups, and then each of the teachers helps to coach that group during the week.
Well, I just work with the kids, both American and Finnish, and we have different events during the day. We start off the day with a warm-up, and that's kind of fun to just get everybody going. Sometimes we do physical warm-ups, and then we do flute warm-ups, and just talk about flute-related things. And then the rest of the day is spent with private lessons and ensemble coaching. And that's a combination of working with flute students, clarinet, and piano for me. I don't have any violinists this year, but it's very fun to work with the different groups, and we try to mix up between Finnish and American students and Finnish and American music. So that's really fun. And then the last hour today of the day we have flute choir. So all the flutes get together and we perform pieces that are written for flute choir. I think my favorite part is the collaboration between the Finnish and American people, students and teachers. And through the 3rd year for me, I've just gained some wonderful friends from Finland, and that's just been so dear to me. They're such great people, and we've had such a great time together, musically and personally. So I think just the whole collaboration is just really wonderful.
Marcus is a real gem in the Sovia Music Camp. As we observed in his teaching, he's very active. He never says no for an answer. He insists upon and encourages student participation. And for many of those students, improvising music, making music up on the spot is something brand new to them. And so it's a really important part of the Sovia Music Camp.
For this class, it's about listening, what's come up. It's about giving some thought and put it on the map, so to speak, and then try to listen what comes out and somehow to deal with that thing, to bring a new course or something into that stuff what comes out. Of course, when I'm a composer, I deal with these matters every day and have to make decisions. A composer makes a lot of decisions every day. That's our main job, to make decisions, how to go on. The young musician gets to know so much what's wrong and right when they practice music. And sometimes you forget that there are hidden energies and hidden own thoughts about music that it pops up, that one can hear it. And I think the main thing here in this class is to bring those values and those hidden things up, that the musician can think, wow, was that me who did that? What was that? And they don't know exactly what that was, but they know it was them who played it. So, we start 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes, a little bit louder, you have a nice one. Yes, good phrasing there. Use the, yes, a little bit more sound. Switch to 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay.
At first you can imagine they're kind of, the Finns are here and the Americans are over there. But once they start their classes, like we saw earlier today, the improvisation class, they're working side by side and they're talking to each other and they're exchanging ideas, and it's a wonderful team effort.
All right, with that, you ready to roll? All right, you guys are free to go. On the hill. Got an hour and a half, and then we'll update you when you have 30 minutes left.
I'm Jane Larson from the Park Rapids Lakes Area Chamber of Commerce, and I'm the event coordinator. We're having Legends and Logging Days today and tomorrow. Today we have chainsaw carvers here doing exhibition carving. They're all doing masterpiece sculptures, and they're doing quick carves in the ring right now, as you can hear. Tomorrow they'll be auctioning off all the pieces that the chainsaw carvers produce in the next 2 days. This is Park Rapids' signature summer event. We do it for the community, we do it for the businesses to draw people into the community. We have a lot of our chamber businesses are serving food at the event today, along with some other vendors. We have a marketplace, some local people and some travel as far away as Iowa because they really enjoy the event.
Where are you guys from?
We're from Wisconsin.
Okay. Do you guys travel around everywhere?
Minnesota, Wisconsin, North and South Dakota, and Illinois.
We've got Cub Scouts selling pop at the event. We've got children's activities like minnow races and the sawing over here. Rotary serves French fries, and it's just a really fun event for the whole community. We have something for everybody. Another really important aspect of our event is this St. Joseph's Hospice chili and wing cook-off. Last year we just did chili. This year they're also doing wings, so it's going to be a lot of fun to see people bring out all those great recipes.
St. Joseph's Area Health Services, which is where I have worked for the last 15 years, is a chamber member here in Park Rapids, specifically St. Joseph's Hospice, which I am here representing today, is a partner in this event. This is our third year doing the chili portion of this event. The hot wings is new this year. With the chili event, people bring in various types of chili. We have green chilies, we have red chilies, we have chili grind, we have beanless chili, we have meatless chili, we have vegetarian chili. We have people who like to bring in extremely hot chili. We have people who like very sweet and mild chili. So it all depends on taste buds and what people are looking for.
I think that I wasn't here yet, but it went on for about 38 years. We had logging events in the community. And yeah, it was to kind of showcase the history of Park Rapids. The reason that we have the really wide streets down on Main Street is because they were wide for the horses to turn around as they were bringing the logs into town. So it is part of our heritage and our history. the logging aspect of the event. And then we've just added other fun things, you know, for the whole family to do. So they have things to eat, things to buy, and, you know, a lot of fun in the main arena.
The history of Breezy Point is, you know, our guests are very interested in it because it has a long and colorful history. And the resort's been here since the 20s, and it keeps evolving.
We were able, through a lot of different sources, particularly elderly folks that are still around this area who worked at the resort when they were kids, who gave us firsthand interviews and descriptions of how it was in those days. We have a lot more information than we've been able to print. A lot of personal stories of ladies who met their husbands while they worked in housekeeping and their husband was the busboy, things like that. Interesting stories, but we just run out of room to print.
You know, there's so many stories that are interesting that it's, you know, it's kind of hard to separate fact from fiction. People were telling me about all the gangsters that used to hang out at Breezy Point. So I talked to one of Billy Faucet's sons. When I got to know Roscoe Faucet. And I says, well, were there any gangsters ever up at Breezy? And he says, Father would never allow them in the front gate. So that put an end to that. And I think there was speculation because there were gangsters in the Brainerd Lakes area, but they weren't welcome at Breezy Point. Billy Faucet started, well, he started with Captain Billy's Whiz Bang, which was the risque book of its time, like the Playboy book of its time. And he built Faucet Publications, which I believe was the biggest publishing house in the United States. He had 2 movie magazines, so he'd write up a movie star, and he'd expect them to come up and, you know, visit with his friends and stay at Breezy Point.
Captain Billy was born in 1883, and when he was 16, he lied about his age and joined the Army during the Spanish-American War and was sent to the Philippines. When he came back, he worked as a reporter for a couple of Minneapolis papers, and then he re-enlisted in World War I, and he became captain in the Army, and thus he got the nickname Captain Billy. When he returned, that's when he published Captain Billy's Whiz Bang, and he called it the Whiz Bang because whiz bang was the sound you heard. The whiz was a rocket mortar going over your head, and then of course bang when it hit. He made a lot of money with Whiz Bang, and then branched out to things like Popular Mechanics and whatnot over the years. But he made his initial fortune from Whiz Bang, and that's how he bankrolled building this resort. In 1921, Billy Faucet bought the property that is now Breezy Point Resort, sight unseen, and made the trip up to do his first investigation on Valentine's Day, 1921. He came up in the middle of a blizzard and got here. The only thing here was a farmhouse and a couple other outbuildings, and looked around and stayed here for a few days and determined what he wanted to build and had an idea of what he was going to accomplish. And his real goal at the time was to provide a playground for all of his influential and celebrity friends. And it turned out that he was right on the money, because the resort evolved into kind of a haven for celebrities. They could come up here and nobody bothered them. Construction on the original lodge was between 1922 and 1924. He had Finnish carpenters who did all the log work using drift pins, no spikes, no nails. It was all old school construction. When that building was finished, he had the largest dining room, or advertised the largest dining room west of the Mississippi. He had all kinds of grand descriptions of the property, and people started to come.
This is the old Faucet House. That was the living room in 1936. It's all log construction with a huge rock fireplace. The Faucet House is rented out on a regular basis to a lot of family reunions, a lot of headquarters for a major group that we have in. It's got 11 bedrooms, 9 bathrooms, plus the living room and a kitchen. The only area that really is original is the Faucet House, because it's a log building that we've kept as it was. All of the other buildings are new. You know, the lodge apartments are new. This building that we're in right now, the Marina 2 restaurant, that was built 2 years ago. It replaced another marina restaurant that was built in '65. Our lodging accommodations are all new. White Birch Estates, they've all been built, and we're still doing that today. There's some interesting stories on the gates. The person who built it is from the Lakes area, Charlie Scood. Charlie and his sons worked on that, and I talked to one of his sons who was helping at the time, carrying mud and rocks for him. Billy's wife came out and says, "Take it down. Billy's got a Stutz Bearcat and he's going to run into that front gate." So Charlie went into Pequot to the Thurlow's Hardware and got some dynamite, and he blew the part up that he had built. Here comes Billy. Billy says, "Who told you to do that?" He says, "Well, your wife." He says, "Build it back." So there it is. We got our front gates. And here's the front gates today.
Captain Billy had a lot of famous guests, amongst them Sinclair Lewis, who, the story has it, would hold court in the bar here. He was staying at a cabin, a private cabin on the north end of Pelican Lake. He would also have parties at his place. And rumor had it that when he got tired of the party, when he thought it should be over, he would take out a handgun and fire a shot in the air, and it gave everybody a signal it was time to leave. He also had Betty Grable, Jackie Coogan, Myrna Loy, Rita Hayworth, Clark Gable, and President Truman. President Truman made a trip from Brainerd and played, at that time gambling was not legal, but it was rampant. And he played some games in Brainerd and won a few dollars, came up to Breezy Point and won a bunch of dollars, and was very happy with Breezy Point Resort. Jack Dempsey was amongst the guests, along with Gene Autry. Billy was what you'd call today a Renaissance man. He had his fingers in a lot of things, and one of his hobbies was big game hunting. He traveled all over the world and brought back trophies which lined the halls in the main lodge and in the Faucet House. He was also captain of the 1924 U.S. Olympic trap shooting team.
Yeah, this is the old clubhouse. It was used for just about everything. There was a little grocery store in there. They sold sundries, drugs, ice cream, that type of thing. They also had gas pumps out in front of it at one time. And that evolved into what later became the Supper Club. It was added on to maybe 4 or 5 different times. A lot of different roof lines on the top of that building. Some of the big bands played here, the Benny Goodman playing and Tommy Dorsey, Count Basie Band.
The original Breezy Point Resort was actually called Breezy Point Lodge, and that was founded by Captain Billy Faucet in 1921. Captain Billy operated until his death in 1941, at which point his sons took over, and they shut down actually during World War II due to gas rationing. The tourist business had evaporated. In 1946, they sold it to the Coca-Cola bottler in Brainerd by the name of Holmes. Holmes then had it for 1 year and sold it in 1947 to Jack Salinger. Jack Salinger had a silent partner by the name of Brownie Coate, who was the founder of Grandview Lodge in Nisswa. In 1962, Jenny Sims, a famous big band singer, and her husband Don Eastwold bought the property, and they had it until 1965. They made a lot of improvements here, but also ran out of money. And in 1965 they departed. It went into the hands of the bankruptcy court trustees from 1966 to 1967. In 1968, a group from the Hopkins House in Minneapolis bought it. In 1981, Bob Spizo, the present owner, acquired the resort, and it was renamed Breezy Point Resort, and Bob Spizo is owner today.
The golf course was started in 1921, right away. That was one of the first things that he did. I think the first tournament was held in 23. Walter Hagen, we've got pictures up at the traditional golf course clubhouse, playing an exhibition match with Captain Faucet.
One of the myths surrounding Breezy Point Resort amongst the local folks is the presence of tunnels. The stories have it that there are tunnels all over. In fact, one story says there's a tunnel that connects the mainland to Gooseberry Island, and that it was a place for gangsters to run when the law came and avoid capture. Also, caves. Supposedly there are caves where possibly Al Capone stored booze. But to dispel the rumors, there were no tunnels, with the exception of one that ran from the main lodge into Captain Billy's residence, which is now the Faucet House. And that was used before there was a kitchen in the Faucet House for moving food from the lodge up to the Faucet House. One thing to key on is the old resorts, the mom and pop, if you will, resorts, were strictly summer operation. In fact, the cabins weren't winterized. A lot of these resorts had central showers. They may have running water, but it was cold running water. They were primitive. And that's what vacationers expected. But as the motel industry grew, the Holiday Inns of the world came around, Mom all of a sudden realized, I don't have to live like that on my vacation. I can have a little luxury here. So a lot of the resorts responded. Those that didn't went away. So as those wants and desires from the customer changed, the resorts that changed along with them survived. The others didn't. And that, I think, going forward is continually recognizing what the customer wants, not telling them what they're going to get.
Thank you so much for joining us. We hope that you enjoyed the show, and we look forward to seeing you next week right here on Common Ground. If you have a segment idea for Common Ground pertaining to North Central Minnesota, contact us at legacy@lptv.org or call us at 218-333-3022. Individual segments or copies of Common Ground, please call 218-333-3020. Common Ground is funded by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund with money from the vote of the people of Minnesota on November 4th, 2008. If you enjoyed this segment of Lakeland Public Television's Common Ground, consider making a contribution at lptv.org. If you have segment ideas pertaining to North Central Minnesota, contact us at legacy@lptv.org. Common Ground is funded by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund by the vote of the people on November 4th, 2008.